As interesting and mysterious as the dense, tangled jungle of the Amazon is, the ancient peoples who inhabited the unforgiving landscape are arguably more mysterious. Not much is known about how these native peoples lived and interacted with the rainforest around them, although discoveries are constantly being made that shed light on the lives of the foundational people of the Amazon. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we will be going over 3 interesting discoveries made in the region that help us understand a little bit more about the mysterious people who inhabited the area long ago. A 2,000-year-old monolith reveals hidden symbols in the Amazon. Some of the most fascinating evidence of the ancient history of the Amazon lies hidden deep within the dense jungle, requiring historians interested in studying and recording the lives of the long-gone original residents of the area to hike and climb perilous distances through the sprawling trees and choking vines. However, it is all worth it when they make an important discovery that helps to preserve the history of the ancient people. Recently, a team working in northern Peru was able to make one of these fascinating discoveries when they 3D scanned the eroded remnants of a massive monolith that dated back an astonishing 2,000 years. The monolith itself was not hidden. In fact, it was in plain sight and was known about by the locals in the area. However, the village that surrounded the stone was incredibly remote and rarely visited. So it was not until a team of researchers set out to hike the thousands of meters to reach the stone that the markings were able to be studied more extensively, and what they found was truly astonishing. Although there was some visible evidence of carvings on the stone, they were severely eroded and in danger of being lost entirely if the erosion continued. In order to digitally preserve and more closely study the designs, the team hauled a 3D scanner up to the village and created scans of the illegible carvings. The scanner was able to better capture the carvings that were no longer visible to the naked eye and paint a picture of what the monolith may have looked like thousands of years ago when it was originally created. And when the designs were viewed through the digital contrast instead of the hard-to-decipher natural stone, the result was an incredibly beautiful, abstract design that took the breath of the researchers away. Although the carvings were arranged in a largely abstract design, they seemed to portray a powerful feline feathered figure at the center, which was a popular design in the region at the time, helping to date the stone to somewhere between 200 BC and AD 200. David Fernandez de Villa, who was an archaeologist who had worked with the locals in the region for over 2 decades before joining the expedition to study the stone, said that the discovery of the feline figure carved into the monolith was iconic. Only people of that period can carve it the way that it is. Because of these carvings, researchers were able to determine that the region where the monolith was placed was likely a very sacred location to the inhabitants at the time. Contributing to this conclusion is the fact that the monolith is not composed of a local stone, and weighing around a ton and measuring a whopping 8 meters by 3 meters by 1.5 meters, would have constituted a tremendous community effort in order to haul the massive stone undamaged through the dense mountainous jungle surrounding the region. Now that researchers know that the region was likely a sacred place to the ancient people of Peru, they hope to be able to work with the present-day local inhabitants in order to further study the area in hopes of learning even more about how the people who made the area their home over 2,000 years ago lived and worked. Mysterious earthworks found in the Amazon. Stonehenge is world famous for its perplexing configuration of stones strangely placed by ancient people of long ago. However, it seems that the people responsible for its creation were not alone in crafting structures that leave modern-day historians scratching their heads. Recently, mysterious earthworks that had previously been hidden were uncovered deep in the jungles of the Amazon rainforest due to a combination of deforestation and new satellite images that revealed the formations. The earthworks are a series of geometrically arranged ditches measuring an astonishing 11 meters wide, 4 feet deep, and ranging from over 90 meters long to over 300, making them one of the largest pre-Columbian monuments in North and South America. The fascinating discovery caused researchers to flock to the site, in an attempt to uncover what it might have been built for, and what it might be able to tell us about the people who lived in the region long ago. The ditches, called geoglyphs, are arranged in a clearly intentional manner, depicting geometrical circles and squares spreading across the land. Because of the purposefully complex arrangement, historians believe that the site was likely used to carry out rituals or as a location for public gatherings that took place over 2,000 years ago. Additionally, the outer geoglyphs mark the site as a henge site, which is a form of Neolithic earthworks similar to Stonehenge, although the famous Stonehenge site is almost 2,500 years older. Interestingly, archaeologists have not been able to find any significant cultural remains or artifacts at the site, which points to the fact that the location was indeed a sacred site to the people who created it, and was kept relatively clean for the purposes of rituals as a result. Jennifer Watling, a researcher at the Museum of Archaeology and Ethnography at the University of Sao Paulo, said in an interview that we are still a long way from answering what the enclosures meant to the geoglyph builders themselves. We are quite sure that they were not sites of permanent villages nor defensive structures, due to both the forms of the earthworks and the small quantity of cultural remains that we discover when excavating them. In fact, one of the most impactful results of the discovery of the complex geoglyphs constructed within the dense Amazon rainforest are the implications that it has for historians' previously held beliefs that the Amazon was a pristine, impenetrable jungle at the time of the geoglyphs' creation. It forced historians to consider the possibility that the rainforest might not have been as mature at the time, or that the people who resided in it at this time may have impacted it much more than previously thought. It is findings such as these that allow us to slowly piece together the ancient history of the individuals who came before us and begin to understand how they lived and worked. The Amazon rainforest was changed by ancient humans. The ancient people of the Amazon rainforest appear to have had a much greater impact on the tangled jungle than historians and archaeologists first believed. It appears that some of the first inhabitants of the region crafted large mounds that they used as artificial forest islands in order to cultivate wild plants for food. This conclusion was reached following the discovery of 4,700 forest islands in the Llanos de Moxos region of northern Bolivia that seem to date back to the arrival of humans an astonishing 10,000 years ago. The mounds are built high enough that the yearly floods in the region that occur from December to March do not cover them and appear to have transformed the landscape as early people cultivated squash, manioc, and maize. These plants are nutrient-dense and likely made up a large portion of the diet of the regional inhabitants, supplemented with fish and likely some meat. These results were documented in a study which analysed soil samples of the region for microscopic plant silica bodies that remain in the well-preserved environment of tropical forests and appear to confirm that the region was one of the early locations of independent plant domestication by ancient peoples. The analysis resulting in this discovery took place on a large scale, consisting of regional analysis of 61 of the archaeological mound sites, samples from 30 of the forest islands, and 4 extensive archaeological excavations. Because of this early plant domestication, the ancient people were able to impact the landscape and ecological diversity of the region for the next 10,000 years. The domesticated islands, which were created to feed themselves through the dry months from July to October, are now thriving forest islands that are surrounded by the much drier savanna landscape. Jose Iriarte of the University of Exeter, who was one of the individuals conducting the study, spoke on the significance of this research, saying that genetic and archaeological evidence suggests that there were at least 4 areas of the world where humans domesticated plants around 11,000 years ago, 2 in the Old World and 2 in the New World. This research helps us to prove Southwest Amazonia is likely the 5th. The evidence we have found shows the earliest inhabitants of the area were not just tropical hunter-gatherers, but colonizers who cultivated plants. This opens the door to suggest that they already ate a mixed diet when they arrived in the region. Discoveries are constantly being made that challenge our idea of how the ancients of the Amazon lived and interacted with the dense rainforest that surrounded them. And this is only the latest piece of the puzzle in understanding life thousands of years ago. But what do you make of these Amazon discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comment section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.